The Force is light and full of shadows. Before we dive in, check the link in the description if you want exclusive Timelines members-only videos you won't find on YouTube, all on our Patreon. The Jedi Council chamber sits empty at the summit of the High Council Tower, on the southwestern side of the Jedi Temple. The circular room is ringed by 12 stone seats, arranged in a perfect circle, each equipped with a holoprojector. Between the inner and outer sets of floor-to-ceiling transparent steel windows, a small corridor allows panoramic views of Coruscant's cityscape, stretching thousands of levels below. 5 pillars spread around the room contain supports and wiring for reception and transmission antennas that crown the spire. Evening falls over Coruscant. The city lights begin to glow like a sea of stars below. The empty council seats cast long shadows across the polished stone floor as natural light fades. Anakin Skywalker paces the perimeter of the chamber. His boots click against stone. 1, 2, 3, 45, 46, 47 steps. He reaches his starting point and immediately begins again. His mechanical hand clenches and unclenches at his side. The chamber maintains a steady neutral temperature, but sweat beads on his forehead. His anxiety makes him feel alternately cold with dread and hot with nervous energy. Through the western viewport, he can see the Senate district miles away. Somewhere in that direction, Mace Windu went to arrest Chancellor Palpatine. Somewhere in that direction, everything is being decided, without him. Anakin stops at a different viewport, this one, overlooking the apartment districts. Padmé is there, waiting, pregnant with their child. No, children. The medical droids said twins. The vision flashes unbidden through his mind, her face twisted in agony, her hand reaching for him, her voice screaming his name as she dies in childbirth. He closes his eyes, trying to push the vision away. His breathing comes faster. "Wait in the council chambers," Mace had said, his voice hard. "If what you've told me is true, you will have earned my trust. But remain here. Wait." The hum of the city far below is muted by the thick, transparent steel. Only the soft whisper of air circulation systems and the occasional distant rumble of passing airspeeders penetrate the silence. The emptiness of the circular room amplifies his isolation. It feels both vast and claustrophobic simultaneously. Anakin's hand moves to his lightsaber, fingers brushing the hilt. He could leave. He could go to Padmé right now, make sure she's safe. He could go to the Senate, help Mace arrest Palpatine. He could. No. He forces his hand away from the weapon. Mace told him to wait, to trust, for once in his life to trust that someone else can handle this. But the vision, Padmé dying, what if she goes into labor while he's here? What if something happens? His thoughts race in circles as endless as his pacing. Padmé, the vision, her dying, the babies. Palpatine said he could save her. He said he knew the secret, the power to cheat death. If Mace kills Palpatine, that knowledge dies too. Then what? Then she dies and it's my fault for telling Mace. Anakin grips the back of Mace Windu's council seat, his knuckles white. The leather creaks under the pressure of his mechanical hand. No, that's not right. That's fear talking. That's exactly what Palpatine wanted. For him to be so afraid he'd do anything. Trust anyone who promised answers. The Chancellor is the Sith Lord, the enemy. The one who's been manipulating the war, both sides, for years. Anakin made the right choice telling the Council. He has to believe that. Through the Force, Anakin reaches out, trying to calm himself. He feels the city's pulse, millions of lives going about their evening routines, unaware that the Republic's Chancellor is secretly a Sith Lord, unaware that everything is about to change. Then he feels something else. Distant, the Senate district. A disturbance in the Force building like a storm gathering strength. Darkness and light clashing. Anakin's eyes snap open. He moves to the western viewport, pressing his hand against the transparent steel. Miles away he sees it. Lightning. Purple and green illumination flashing between buildings, reflecting off the Coruscant skyline. The colors of Mace Windu's lightsaber and Force lightning. The battle has begun. Every muscle in Anakin's body tenses. His instincts scream at him to move, to run, to fly there and help. Mace is outnumbered. He took Kit Fisto, Agen Kolar, and Saesee Tiin. But Palpatine is a Sith Lord. A Sith Lord who's been hiding for years, who orchestrated an entire war. How powerful must he be? What if Mace dies? What if they all die? What if Palpatine wins and then comes for Padmé? For him, for everyone who knows the truth, Anakin's hand goes to his comlink. He could call for backup. He could alert the temple guard. He could... The lightning flashes again, brighter this time. A surge in the Force so powerful it makes Anakin stagger. Darkness swells like a tidal wave, ancient and malevolent and vast beyond comprehension. Then, light, pure, concentrated light pushing back against the darkness. The two forces collide in a shockwave Anakin feels even from miles away. His knees buckle. He catches himself against the viewport gasping. And then, silence. Not physical silence. The city still hums below. But in the Force, a sudden, profound absence. A void where something vast and malevolent had been pressing against reality itself. The darkness that has been clouding Anakin's mind for months. The whispers, the paranoia, the constant low-level dread. It lifts. Not completely, but like fog burning off at dawn. He can suddenly think clearly in a way he hasn't been able to for... How long? Weeks? Months? Since the dream started. Anakin sinks into Mace Windu's council seat, his legs suddenly unable to support him. His heart pounds. His hands shake. It's over. Something massive just ended. Palpatine is dead. He has to be. That void in the Force, that absence, that was a life extinguishing. A powerful life, one that had been pressing against the Force itself, twisting it, darkening it. Or Mace is dead, and Palpatine won. Anakin's stomach clenches with fear. If Palpatine won, if the Sith Lord killed 4 Jedi Masters, then the Republic is finished. The Jedi are finished. And Padmé. No, he can't think like that. He has to trust, has to believe Mace succeeded. But what if he didn't? The circular chamber seems to spin around him. Anakin closes his eyes, trying to center himself in the Force the way Obi-Wan taught him. Breathing, just breathing, feeling the living Force flowing through all things. In, out, in, out. Slowly his heartbeat steadies. The panic recedes, leaving exhaustion in its wake. He chose to stay. He chose to trust the Council. After years of feeling like an outsider, like they didn't respect him, didn't trust him, he finally trusted them first. Whatever happens next, he made the right choice. He has to believe that. Minutes pass, or maybe hours. Time feels distorted, elastic. Anakin remains seated in Mace's chair, his eyes closed, trying to meditate but mostly just waiting for news. Waiting for the turbolift to activate. Waiting for someone to tell him what happened. Waiting to find out if he's just saved the Republic or doomed it. Through the viewport, full darkness has fallen over Coruscant. The city is a blanket of lights now, beautiful and oblivious. Somewhere out there, Padmé sits in their apartment, probably worried sick about where he is. He should contact her, let her know he's safe. But what would he say? I told the Jedi Council that the Chancellor is a Sith Lord, and they're trying to arrest him right now, and I'm waiting to see if they succeed or if the entire galaxy is about to fall into darkness. No, better to wait, to know for sure before he says anything. The fear tries to creep back in, the vision of Padmé dying, Palpatine's voice echoing in his memory. Learn to know the dark side of the Force, and you will achieve a power greater than any Jedi. Learn to stop those you love from dying. What if that was his only chance? What if by rejecting Palpatine, by choosing the Jedi, he's just condemned Padmé to death? No, that's the manipulation talking. That's exactly what Palpatine wanted him to think, that the dark side was the only answer, that the Jedi couldn't help, that he had to turn to evil to save the people he loved. But the Jedi can help. They have to. They're not heartless. They're not the dogmatic monsters Palpatine painted them as. They're his family. Obi-Wan is his brother. Yoda, for all his cryptic wisdom, genuinely cares. Even Mace, for all their conflicts, is a good man trying to do what's right. They'll help him save Padmé. They have to. Anakin opens his eyes. The chamber is dark now except for the city lights filtering through the transparisteel. The empty council seats look like silent witnesses, judging him, or maybe supporting him. Waiting with him. He stands, his legs stiff from sitting. He paces again. 47 steps around the circle. 47 steps of polished stone floor, of empty seats. of windows looking out on a galaxy holding its breath. Then he hears it, the soft hum of the turbo lift activating. Someone is coming. Anakin's hand drops to his lightsaber instinctively. Every muscle tenses. This is it. This is the moment he finds out if the galaxy is saved or doomed. The turbo lift rises through the tower with agonizing slowness. Anakin can feel presences in it, multiple force signatures, familiar but diminished. Injured, the doors slide open. Mace Windu steps out first. His purple lightsaber is deactivated but still in his hand. His dark robes are scorched, his face drawn with exhaustion. He's limping slightly, favoring his left leg. Behind him, Kit Fisto emerges. The Nautoland Jedi has a vicious burn across his left shoulder, his usually cheerful face grim with pain. They're alive. 2 Jedi. Only 2. Mace's eyes find Anakin, still standing in the center of the chamber. For a long moment, neither man speaks. The air between them crackles with unspoken questions. Then Mace nods slowly. You stayed. It's not a question. It's a statement tinged with surprise. You told me to wait, Anakin says. His voice sounds hoarse to his own ears. So I waited. Mace limps further into the chamber. Kit Fisto moves to one of the council seats and sinks into it with a pained hiss. The turbo lift doors close behind them with a soft hum. It's done, Mace says finally. His voice is heavy, weighted with more than just physical exhaustion. Palpatine was the Sith Lord. Darth Sidious. He is dead. Anakin feels them wash over him. Relief and grief and vindication and horror all at once. The others? He asks, though he already knows the answer from the empty turbo lift. Ajim Kolar and Saesee Tiin fell in the first moments. Mace's jaw clenches. Palpatine was faster than we anticipated. Stronger. He killed them before they could defend themselves. Kit Fisto speaks, his voice raspy with pain. The Chancellor, the Sith, he transformed right before our eyes. His face, it was like watching a mask fall away. Beneath the kindly politician was something ancient and evil. His hand tightens on his lightsaber hilt. Power I haven't felt since the old records of the Sith Wars. Ajin and Saesee never stood a chance. Anakin feels sick. 2 Jedi Masters, warriors he'd fought beside for years, dead in moments. How did you? Vapad. Mace says simply, the dark side is strong, but it can be turned against itself. I channeled his lightning back through my blade. Kit held him long enough for me to get the killing blow. He pauses. It was close. Too close. He was toying with us at first, Kit Fisto adds bitterly. Like we were younglings, he killed Ajin and Saesee and then just smiled. Said it had been a long time since he'd had a worthy challenge. But you killed him, Anakin says. It's not a question, but he needs to hear it confirmed again. I did. Mace's eyes meet his. Because you told us the truth. Because you trusted us with the information when you could have. He trails off. When I could have gone to help Palpatine, Anakin finishes silently. When I could have turned on you. That's what you expected, isn't it? That's what everyone expected from me. Before he died, Mace continues, Palpatine spoke. He raved about his grand design, how he orchestrated the Clone Wars both sides for years, how the Separatists were his puppets just as much as the Republic, how he manipulated the Senate, the Jedi Council, everyone. The words confirm what Anakin already suspected, but hearing them still sends a chill through him. The entire war, all the battles, all the deaths, all the suffering, it was all Palpatine's game. The recordings from the Chancellor's office will prove it, Kit Fisto says. Security cameras captured everything. His transformation, his confession, the fight. The Senate will have to believe us. Then he turns to face Anakin fully. You were right, Skywalker. About everything. The prophecy. Your strength. Your... He pauses, choosing his words carefully. Your loyalty to the Order. The words sound like they're being dragged out of him, but they're genuine. You stayed, Mace repeats, when you could have run, when you were afraid, when every instinct must have told you to go to... He stops. To my wife, Anakin says quietly. The admission hangs between them. Mace's expression doesn't change. We'll discuss that later. The council needs to convene, needs to process what's happened. But Anakin, He steps closer. By the authority of this council, by the will of the Force, I grant you the rank of Jedi Master. The words Anakin has wanted to hear for years, the recognition he's craved, but right now all he can think about is, Padmé, he says. I need to. She's pregnant. She's alone. I need to. The Senate district is in chaos right now, but your wife is safe. Senator Amidala is in her apartment under guard. Anakin freezes. You knew? Mace's lips twitch in what might be the ghost of a smile. Master Skywalker, the entire council knows you married Senator Amidala. We've known for quite some time. The ground seems to shift under Anakin's feet. But, you never said, we'll discuss it. Later. Mace's expression is unreadable. Go to your family. You've earned that much. Anakin doesn't need to be told twice. He's moving toward the turbolift before Mace finishes speaking. But as the doors close, he hears Kit Fisto say, he really did stay. I didn't think. And Mace's reply, neither did I. Perhaps we've underestimated him all along. The turbolift descends, carrying Anakin away from the council chamber, away from the moment that changed everything. His mind races. Palpatine is dead. The war might actually end. He's been made a master, and the council knows about Padmé. But none of that matters right now. The only thing that matters is getting to her, making sure she's safe, making sure the vision doesn't come true. As he was waiting in the council chamber, as he was choosing trust over fear, something happened in his mind. The vision of Padmé dying, it's still there, but it feels different, less certain, less inevitable, like a nightmare losing its power in the morning light. The turbolift reaches the temple's ground level. Anakin bursts out into the main hall and runs for the hangar where his starfighter is docked. He has to get to her, has to see her with his own eyes, has to know she's alive and safe. Everything else can wait. The medical facility on Naboo is quiet at this hour. The building sits nestled in the lake country, far from Theed's bustle, a place where senators and diplomats can receive care discreetly. The walls are warm creamstone, and the windows look out over rolling hills and water that reflects the stars. Anakin's starfighter screams across the Naboo sky, pushing the engines harder than recommended. The Republic gave him the clearance codes when he insisted on coming here. Padmé had traveled to Naboo 2 days ago, officially for Senate business, but really because she knew her time was close and wanted privacy for the birth. The facility's landing pad appears below. Anakin doesn't bother with a graceful approach. He drops the fighter onto the pad hard enough to make the landing struts groan, pops the canopy and vaults out before R2 can even finish his questioning beep. Stay with the ship. Anakin calls over his shoulder, already running for the entrance. The medical droids at the reception desk try to stop him, but he barely pauses. Senator Amidala, where is she? Sir, visiting hours are. Where is she? The Force ripples with his urgency. The droid's photoreceptors flicker. 3rd floor, Suite 7. But sir, she's in. Anakin is already gone, taking the stairs 3 at a time. 3rd floor, Suite 7. The hallways are too long, the doors too many. His heart pounds against his ribs. The vision, the horrible vision of her dying, of her hand reaching for him, of her voice crying his name. He rounds the corner. Suite 7. The door is closed. He can feel her presence beyond it, bright in the Force, but strained, exhausted. He hits the door control. It slides open. Push, Senator. Push. The scene before him. Padmé on a medical bed, her face red and streaked with sweat, her body rigid with effort. Medical droids surround her. C-3PO stands in the corner, wringing his hands. Oh my, oh dear. I really don't think I should be here for this. It's most improper. Padmé sees Anakin in the doorway. Their eyes meet. Ani, she gasps. And then her face contorts with another contraction. Padmé. Anakin rushes to her side, taking her hand. I'm here. I'm here. I'm sorry I wasn't here sooner, The baby's crowning. The medical droid announces in its calm, clinical voice. Final push. Senator. On 3. 1. 2. 3. Padmé screams. Her hand crushes Anakin's, both the flesh and the mechanical. He channels the Force to help her, to give her strength, to ease her pain however he can. And then, a cry, high and piercing and absolutely perfect. It's a boy. the droid announces, holding up a tiny, squirming, red-faced infant covered in fluid. Anakin stares. A son. He has a son. But the medical droid doesn't stop. Wait, Senator. There's another. What? Padmé gasps. Twins, the droid says, already moving. Senator, you're having twins. The second baby is coming now. Don't push yet. Wait for the contraction. Twins. The Force suddenly makes sense. He'd felt two presences, but thought he was imagining it. Thought it was just one baby with a particularly strong Force signature. Two children. Now, Senator. Push. Padmé bears down again, her face a mask of determination and exhaustion. Anakin holds her, whispers encouragement, pours every ounce of love and strength he has through their bond. Another cry joins the first, this, one softer but no less insistent. A girl, the droid announces. Twins, a boy and a girl. Anakin feels tears streaming down his face. He didn't even realize he was crying. The medical droids work with efficient precision, cleaning the babies, checking vitals, wrapping them in soft blankets. C-3PO flutters anxiously. Oh my, Master Anakin. You have two offspring. The statistical likelihood of twins is 3PO. Shut up, Anakin says, but there's no heat in it. He can't look away from the two bundles the droids are bringing over. Mother and babies are healthy, the lead droid announces. Would you like to hold them, Senator? Padmé nods weakly. The droids place the twins in her arms, one in each. She looks down at them with wonder, with exhaustion, with fierce love. They're perfect, she whispers. Anakin kneels beside the bed, looking at his children for the first time. The boy has a shock of dark hair. The girl is smaller, her tiny face scrunched in sleep now that she's done crying. Both of them are luminous in the Force, pure, uncorrupted, full of infinite potential. Do you have names chosen? The droid asks, datapad ready. Padmé looks at Anakin. They discussed this once, weeks ago, lying in bed and trying to imagine what their future might look like. Luke, Anakin says, touching his son's tiny hand. The baby's fingers curl around his mechanical finger. His name is Luke. And her? Padmé looks down at their daughter. Leia, Anakin says. The name comes to him from somewhere deep. Somewhere right. Her name is Leia. His family. The vision, the horrible vision of Padmé dying in childbirth. It didn't come true. She's here. She's alive. She's exhausted and covered in sweat and absolutely radiant. How are you here? Padmé asks softly, adjusting Leia in her arms. I thought, the Council, what happened with? Palpatine is dead, Anakin says. The words still feel surreal. He was the Sith Lord. Darth Sidious. Mace arrested him. Killed him. It's over. Padmé's eyes widen. The Chancellor. But he played us all. Manipulated everyone. The entire war was his design. Anakin reaches up to brush a strand of hair from her face. But that doesn't matter right now. What matters is you're alive. They're alive. You're all safe. The vision? Padmé asks quietly. She knows about his nightmares, his fears. It didn't come true. Anakin's voice breaks. I was so afraid I'd lose you. But you're here. You're all here. He rests his forehead against hers. They stay like that, breathing together, the twins between them, while C-3PO quietly ushers the medical droids out to give them privacy. I love you, Padmé whispers. I love you too, Anakin replies. All three of you. All of you. Luke chooses that moment to yawn, his tiny face scrunching up. Leia remains asleep, peaceful and perfect. Through the Force, Anakin feels their presences. His son, his daughter, his wife. Not the darkness and fear that have haunted him for months, but light. Pure, uncomplicated light. This is what he was fighting for. Not power. Not victory. Not even peace, really. This moment. This family. This love. Outside, Naboo's sun rises over the lake country, painting the sky in shades of pink and gold. Inside the medical suite, Anakin Skywalker holds his wife's hand and looks at his children, and for the first time in years, he feels no fear, only joy. The week following the twins' birth passes in a blur. Anakin splits his time between the medical facility on Naboo and emergency council sessions via holoconference. The galaxy is reeling from the revelation that Chancellor Palpatine was secretly a Sith Lord who orchestrated both sides of the Clone Wars. The Senate has been in constant session. The recordings from Palpatine's office, his transformation, his admission, his use of Force lightning, were broadcast across every Republic system. The shock is still reverberating. Bail Organa, as senior senator from Alderaan and one of the few politicians who openly opposed Palpatine's emergency powers, has been appointed interim chancellor while elections are organized. His first act was to revoke all of Palpatine's wartime measures and begin peace negotiations with the separatist systems, because with the revelation that Palpatine controlled both sides, the entire basis for the war has collapsed. Many separatist worlds are suing for peace, claiming they were manipulated. Others are uncertain, their leadership having been puppets of Palpatine now thrown into chaos. It's a mess, but it's a mess that might actually lead to peace. Anakin tries to focus on these galactic concerns during the holoconferences, but his mind keeps drifting back to the medical suite where Padmé rests with Luke and Leia. The twins are healthy, growing stronger each day. Padmé is recovering well, though exhausted from the birth and the stress of everything happening. She wants to return to Coruscant, to be part of the Senate's emergency sessions, but Anakin convinced her to wait, just a few more days, just until she's stronger. The truth is, he doesn't want this bubble to burst. Here on Naboo, away from the temple and the Senate and everything else, they can just be a family. No secrets, no hiding, just him, Padmé, and their children. But he knows it can't last. On the 7th day after the birth, Anakin receives a message from Obi-Wan. Not an official council summons, but a personal request. Anakin, when you return to Coruscant, I need to speak with you. Privately. There's something we should discuss. The message is cryptic, but Obi-Wan's tone makes it clear this isn't about council business. This is about something else. Anakin has a feeling he knows what. He looks at Padmé, who's sitting up in bed with Leia cradled against her chest. Luke is asleep in a bassinet nearby, one tiny fist curled against his cheek. I need to go back to Coruscant tomorrow, Anakin says quietly. Just for a day. There are things we need to address. Padmé nods. She knows this was coming. The council knows about us. Mace said they've known for a while. Anakin runs a hand through his hair. I don't know what that means. What they'll do about it. We knew this day would come, Padmé says calmly. But he can feel her anxiety through their bond. Whatever happens, we face it together. Together, Anakin agrees. That night he holds Padmé while she sleeps, the twins in their bassinets nearby. Through the window, Naboo's stars shine bright and clear. Tomorrow, he'll return to Coruscant. Tomorrow, he'll face whatever consequences come from his choices. But tonight, he has this peace, this family, this love. And whatever the council decides, whatever judgment they pass, nothing can take this away from him. Nothing. The Jedi Temple Meditation Garden is peaceful at this hour. Located on one of the temple's lower levels, it's a small oasis of green in the city planet. Trees transplanted from a dozen worlds, a fountain with koi swimming in clear water, stone benches arranged for quiet contemplation. Anakin finds Obi-Wan sitting by the fountain, tossing food pellets to the fish. His former master doesn't look up as Anakin approaches, but he gestures to the bench beside him. Hello, Anakin. How are Padmé and the children? The casual acknowledgement, not Senator Amidala, or any pretense, just Padmé, makes Anakin pause. They're well, he says carefully, sitting down. The twins are healthy. Padmé is recovering. Good. Obi-Wan tosses another pellet. A golden koi rises to snatch it. I'm glad. Twins are quite a handful, I imagine. You could say that. Silence stretches between them. Anakin waits, uncertain. This was Obi-Wan's meeting. Let him lead. Finally, Obi-Wan sets aside the fish food and turns to face Anakin directly. I need to tell you something. About your marriage. Here it comes. The judgment. The anger. The disappointment. I've known since Geonosis, Obi-Wan says quietly. Possibly before. Anakin's world tilts. What? The way you looked at her. The way she looked at you. The secret trip to Naboo that everyone pretended not to notice. Obi-Wan's expression is gentle, almost sad. Anakin, I'm many things, but I'm not blind. I confronted you once, remember? On Naboo, before the war truly began, You denied it. And I let it go. But why? Anakin's mind reels. Obi-Wan knew? All this time? Because I saw what denying love had done to the Order. Obi-Wan looks away, his gaze distant. We'd become cold, dogmatic, too focused on rules and not enough on compassion. And you were happier with her. Stronger. More centered. How could I take that away from you? You could have reported me to the Council. I could have. Obi-Wan meets his eyes. I should have, according to the code. But I loved you more than I loved the rules, Anakin. You're my brother. My family. And I failed you by not helping you navigate this, by letting you suffer in secrecy. The words hit Anakin like a physical blow. Obi-Wan failed him? That's the opposite of, I don't understand, Anakin says quietly. I had someone once, Obi-Wan says. Duchess Satine of Mandalore. We met during a mission when I was much younger. I loved her. She loved me. And I chose the Order. I chose duty over love. He pauses. I've often wondered if I made the right choice. If the galaxy is truly better for my sacrifice, or if I simply robbed us both of happiness for no good reason. Anakin stares at his former master. In all their years together, Obi-Wan has never spoken of this. Attachment isn't the enemy, Anakin. Obi-Wan continues. Fear is. Possessiveness is. The inability to let go when the Force demands it. But love? Love is the light. Love is what makes us fight for something greater than ourselves. The Council. The Council will find out, if they haven't already pieced it together from Mace's comments. Obi-Wan turns back to the fountain. You need to get ahead of it. Tell them yourself. Use your new status. Master Skywalker, the chosen one who exposed the Sith Lord and saved the Republic. They owe you. They'll expel me. Maybe. Maybe not. Obi-Wan tosses a final pellet to the fish. But you have precedence. Ki-Adi-Mundi was granted an exception to the prohibition on marriage due to his species' low birth rate. He maintained a family, 5 wives and 7 children, while serving the Order. Anakin blinks. I didn't know that. The Corellian Jedi permitted marriages among their ranks for generations. Long legacies and bloodlines formed. These Jedi maintained strong family bonds while serving the Force, demonstrating that attachment and duty can coexist. But those were special cases. So are you, Obi-Wan says firmly. You're the chosen one, Anakin. The one who brought balance by choosing trust over fear, light over darkness. And you've already proven that your love for Padmé makes you stronger, not weaker. If you'd been allowed to be open about your marriage, if you hadn't been forced to hide it, Palpatine would never have been able to manipulate you the way he did. Anakin thinks about those terrible weeks when Palpatine was whispering in his ear, telling him the Jedi would never help him save Padmé, that he had to turn to the dark side. If he'd been able to go to the Council openly, if he hadn't been terrified, they'd expel him and take away his family. You're right, Anakin says slowly. The secrecy is what made me vulnerable. Exactly. Obi-Wan stands, placing a hand on Anakin's shoulder. So we end the secrecy. We go to the Council together. We present your case. And whatever they decide, we face it. Together? I'm with you, Anakin, always. Obi-Wan squeezes his shoulder. This time, I won't fail you. Anakin rises to face his former master, his brother in all but blood. What do I say to them? The truth. That you married Senator Amidala 3 years ago. That you have 2 children. That you violated the code but that you're not asking for their permission. You're asking them to recognize that love and duty aren't mutually exclusive. Obi-Wan's eyes are steady. You're asking them to evolve, or die as the old Republic has died. That's a lot to ask. You're asking them to be Jedi, Obi-Wan corrects. Servants of the Force, not servants of dogma. The Force is life, Anakin. Life and love. If the Order can't recognize that, then perhaps the Order deserves to fade. They walk together through the garden, past flowering trees and trickling water. The temple rises above them, ancient and imposing. When? Anakin asks. Soon. Within the week, the Council is still dealing with the fallout from Palpatine's death, but they'll want to address your situation. Better to control the narrative yourself. And if they expel me, Obi-Wan is quiet for a moment. Then I leave with you. If the Jedi Order cannot accept that one of their greatest heroes is also a husband and father, then I no longer wish to be a part of the Order. Anakin stops walking. Obi-Wan, you can't. I can, and I will. Obi-Wan's voice is firm. I failed you once by staying silent. I won't fail you again. We're brothers, Anakin. That means something. They clasp hands, and for a moment Anakin feels the bond between them. Master and Padawan, brothers. Family, stronger than any code, any rule, any dogma. Whatever comes next, they'll face it together. The council chamber looks different in the late afternoon light. Anakin stands in the center of the circular room, just as he did when Mace Windu denied him the rank of Master all those weeks ago. But everything has changed since then. All 12 seats are filled. Obi-Wan Kenobi sits in what was Ajan Kolar's seat, a promotion earned through his years of service, and the tragic vacancy left by Palpatine's attack. Mace Windu occupies his usual position, his expression unreadable. Yoda sits with his eyes closed, his gimmer stick resting across his lap. The other masters, Kit Fisto, Plo Koon, Shak Ti, Ki-Adi-Mundi, Saesee Tiin, Coleman K.A. Cage, and the others, watch Anakin with varying degrees of curiosity and concern. But this time, Anakin isn't alone. Standing behind the ring of council seats, barely visible through the transperisteel windows, but unmistakably present, dozens of Jedi have gathered. Word spread quickly that Master Skywalker requested a full council session to make a personal statement. The gallery is packed with knights and Padawans, all curious about what the hero who exposed the Sith Lord could possibly need to confess. Anakin takes a deep breath. The sun streaming through the western windows casts him in golden light, dramatic and unintentional. His heart pounds, but his hands are steady. Masters, he begins, his voice carrying clearly in the circular chamber, I come before you in honesty. 3 years ago, in the weeks before the Battle of Geonosis, I married Senator Padmé Amidala of Naboo on her homeworld. 1 week ago, she gave birth to our children, Luke and Leia Skywalker. Some council members don't react at all. Obi-Wan maintains a supportive expression. Mace's face remains impassive. Yoda's eyes stay closed. Others show surprise poorly concealed. Shak Ti's head-tails twitch. Plo Koon leans forward slightly in his seat. Ki-Adi-Mundi simply nods, as if confirming something he already suspected. I have violated the Jedi Code, Anakin continues. I accept the consequences of my actions, but I will not apologize for loving her. I will not apologize for my family. Now Mace speaks, his voice measured. This is exactly what the code was designed to prevent, Skywalker. Attachment clouds judgment. It makes us vulnerable to fear, to anger, to the dark side. With respect, Master Windu, my attachment didn't compromise me. Anakin keeps his voice level, remembering Obi-Wan's coaching. My fear did. My fear that the Council, wouldn't help me. That I'd be forced to choose between the woman I love and the Order I serve. Palpatine didn't exploit my love, he exploited my isolation. You nearly turned on us to save her, Mace counters. Doesn't that prove the Code's wisdom? I nearly turned because I was terrified and alone and thought I had no other options. Anakin's voice rises slightly, then steadies. If I'd felt safe coming to the Council, if I'd been able to be honest about my marriage from the beginning, Palpatine would have had no leverage over me. The secrecy is what made me vulnerable, not the love itself. Plo Koon speaks, his voice filtered through his Antioch's mask. An interesting argument, young Skywalker. You claim that openness would have protected you from the dark side's temptations. I do, Master Plo. Yet the code exists for a reason, Shak Ti adds, her tone thoughtful rather than accusatory. For millennia, we've taught that attachment leads to jealousy, to fear of loss, to the dark side. You're asking us to overturn fundamental doctrine based on your personal experience? I'm asking you to recognize that the doctrine may be flawed. Anakin looks around the circle, meeting each master's eyes in turn. And I'm not the first Jedi to question it. I'm not even the first to violate it and remain true to the light. Ki-Adi-Mundi shifts in his seat. Anakin seizes on the movement. Master Mundi, you were granted an exception to the Jedi Order's ban on marriage. The Council permitted you to maintain a family, 5 wives and 7 children, while serving as a Jedi Master. You've demonstrated for years that it's possible to love without falling to darkness. The Sarian Master inclines his head. That exception was granted due to my species' unique biological circumstances. The Syrian birth rate is critically low, with only one male for every 20 females. The continuation of my species was at stake. But the principle remains. Anakin presses. You maintain strong family bonds. You love your wives and children, yet you serve the Force faithfully. You're proof that attachment and duty can coexist. The Council granted me that exception with specific conditions. Ki-Adi-Mundi says carefully. I was able to love without being attached, to care deeply but not possessively. Can you make the same claim, Skywalker? Anakin hesitates. Can he? He thinks of Padmé, of Luke and Leia. Would he be able to let them go if the Force demanded it? The honest answer is no. He would fight the Force itself before allowing harm to come to his family. But before he can formulate a response, Obi-Wan speaks. With respect, Master Mundi, I don't believe that's the question we should be asking. All eyes turn to Obi-Wan. The question isn't whether Anakin can love without attachment. Using your definition of that word, the question is whether the Order's definition of attachment is correct. Explain, Yoda says, his eyes opening for the first time since the session began. The Code teaches there is no emotion, there is peace, Obi-Wan says. But that's a mistranslation of older texts. The original Code, as practiced by the ancient Jedi, was different. It acknowledged emotion while teaching control. Emotion, yet peace. Ignorance, yet knowledge. Passion, yet serenity. Murmurs ripple through the Council. Several masters exchange glances. The Corellian Jedi followed this older tradition, Obi-Wan continues. They permitted marriages among their ranks. The Halcyon family produced multiple Jedi Masters over generations, each one serving faithfully while maintaining family bonds. They understood that love, genuine love, strengthens rather than weakens. The Corellian Jedi were always unconventional, Mace says slowly. Their interpretation of the Code diverged from mainstream teaching. Or perhaps mainstream teaching diverged from the truth, Obi-Wan counters. Master Windu, you told me once that the dark side clouds everything, that our ability to use the Force has diminished. Perhaps that's because we've cut ourselves off from one of the Force's most powerful expressions. Love leads to loss, Shakti says quietly. Loss leads to grief, grief to suffering. The path to the dark side this is. Only if we fear loss, Anakin says. Only if we try to possess and control. But if we love freely, accepting that all things pass, that death is part of the Force, then love becomes something else. Not a weakness, but a strength. But you didn't accept loss, Skywalker. You had visions of your wife dying. You turned to Palpatine because you couldn't let her go. I turned to Palpatine because he fed my fear, Anakin corrects. Because he showed me visions he created, and told me the Jedi couldn't help. And I believed him because I'd been taught that love was forbidden, that my marriage made me a failure as a Jedi. If the Order had embraced compassion instead of cold detachment, Palpatine would have had no opening. The chamber falls silent. Anakin can feel the weight of judgment, of centuries of tradition pressing down on this moment. Then Ki-Adi-Mundi speaks again. Master Skywalker raises valid points. The Syrian says slowly, I've maintained my family for decades while serving the Force. It is difficult. There are moments when my duty to the Order conflicts with my love for my wives and children, but those conflicts have made me stronger, not weaker. They've taught me compassion. They've reminded me why we fight, not for abstract principles, but for life itself. Master Mundi, Mace says, a warning in his tone. No, Master Windu, this needs to be said. Ki-Adi-Mundi stands, his tall frame commanding attention. The question before us isn't whether Skywalker violated the Code. He did. The question is whether the Code itself needs examination, whether our rigid interpretation has weakened us rather than protected us. Plo Koon rises as well. Master Mundi speaks wisdom. The Clone Wars revealed our failings. We became generals, politicians. We led armies of slaves, yes, slaves, though we called them clones, into battle. We forgot what it meant to be Jedi. Perhaps Skywalker's path is the Force showing us another way. Or perhaps it's the dark side tempting us with comfortable lies, Mace counters, though his voice lacks its usual certainty. For 1,000 years, the Code has guided us. Now we're meant to abandon it because one Jedi wants to keep his family? Not abandon, Obi-Wan says. Evolve. The Republic as we knew it is dead, Master Windu. Palpatine saw to that. We have an opportunity to rebuild, not just the Republic, but the Jedi Order itself. We can cling to dogma that failed to prevent our near destruction, or we can acknowledge that balance requires flexibility. Yoda taps his gimmer stick against the floor. The sharp sound cuts through the rising debate. Speak, young Skywalker. Your fear, it is gone, yes? Anakin meets the ancient master's eyes. Yes, Master Yoda. The visions that haunted me, they're gone. I feel clear, like a fog has lifted. Palpatine's influence, that was, Yoda says. In your mind he was, feeding your fear, showing you false futures, twisted your visions he did to serve his purposes. The revelation hits Anakin like cold water. All those nightmares, all that terror, Palpatine had been manipulating him even more thoroughly than he realized. Now see clearly you do, Yoda asks. I do. And your wife? Your children? Let them go, could you, if the Force demanded it? The question hangs in the air. Anakin knows the correct answer, the one the Council wants to hear, but Obi-Wan's words echo in his mind. Tell them the truth. No, Anakin says quietly. If the Force demanded I abandon my family, I would fight the Force itself. I would do anything, everything to protect them. That's the truth. I won't lie to you. Gasps from the gallery. Several council members look troubled. Mace's expression darkens. But Yoda's eyes gleam with something that might be approval. Honest, you are. Value that. I do. The ancient master rises from his seat with some difficulty, leaning heavily on his stick. See your children, I wish to. Bring them here, will you? Anakin blinks. Master, your family. See them? The Council should. Feel their presence in the Force, we must. Only then can we judge truly. Anakin glances at Obi-Wan, who nods encouragingly. They're on Naboo still. Senator Amidala is recovering from the birth. But I can contact her. Ask her to. You want to bring a senator and 2 infants into the council chamber? Afraid of babies, are you, Master Windu? Yoda asks, a hint of mischief in his ancient voice. Strong in the Force they are, I sense. See them, I will. Brief recess we take. Contact your wife, Skywalker. Ask her to come. The council members exchange uncertain looks, but no one contradicts Yoda. The ancient master's word still carries ultimate weight. This session is recessed for 1 hour, Mace announces reluctantly. The hour passes in a blur. Anakin uses a secure holonet channel to contact Padmé on Naboo. She's surprised by the request but agrees immediately. Captain Typho and several Naboo security officers escort her to a Republic transport. The flight from Naboo to Coruscant takes 45 minutes at maximum speed. Anakin waits in an antechamber off the council chamber, pacing much as he did weeks ago. But this time, Obi-Wan waits with him. You did well in there, Obi-Wan says. I told them I'd fight the Force itself to protect my family. That's probably not what they wanted to hear. It was honest, and honesty is more valuable than telling them what they want to hear. Obi-Wan places a hand on Anakin's shoulder. Whatever happens, you've already won. You exposed the Sith Lord. You stayed true to the light when darkness offered everything. You're a father now, with a family who loves you. The Council can take away your rank, but they can't take that. They can exile me. Then we'll both be exiles. Obi-Wan squeezes his shoulder. I meant what I said in the garden. I'm with you. A chime announces the transport's arrival at the temple landing platform. Anakin and Obi-Wan head down to meet it. Padmé descends the ramp, carrying both twins in a specially designed harness that holds one baby against each hip. She looks tired but determined, dressed in a simple but elegant gown that somehow makes her look both regal and approachable. Captain Typho and 2 guards flank her. Ani, she says, and he's there, kissing her forehead, touching Luke's and Leia's tiny faces. Thank you for coming. I know this is asking a lot. Hush. We're family. We face everything together. She looks past him to Obi-Wan. Master Kenobi. It's good to see you. Senator Amidala. Or should I say, Mrs. Skywalker. Obi-Wan's eyes twinkle. Congratulations on the twins. They're beautiful. Thank you. Padmé adjusts Luke, who's starting to fuss. What do I need to know before we go in there? Be yourself, Obi-Wan says simply. Be the woman Anakin loves. Show them what you two have built together. As the doors open, Anakin feels the weight of dozens of Force-sensitive presences. The gallery is even more packed than before. Word has spread that Senator Amidala and the Skywalker twins are coming to the temple. The council sits in their circle, waiting. Yoda's eyes are bright with anticipation. Anakin and Padmé walk to the center of the chamber. Obi-Wan remains at the periphery, a supportive presence. Captain Typho and the guards wait outside. The council chamber is sacred space, not a place for armed security. Masters, Padmé says, her voice clear and strong despite her exhaustion. Thank you for agreeing to see us. Senator Amidala, Mace acknowledges. You understand why you've been summoned? I understand that my husband has told you about our marriage and our children. I understand that this violates Jedi law, but I want you to understand something as well. Padmé's voice doesn't waver. Anakin Skywalker is the best man I've ever known. He's brave, compassionate, and loyal. He's also my husband and the father of my children. Whatever judgment you pass on him, know that I will stand by him, always. Your loyalty is admirable, Senator, Shak T says gently. But this is a Jedi matter, with respect. Master T, it's not. Padmé's eyes flash. The Jedi serve the Republic. I'm a senator of that Republic. What you decide here affects not just Anakin, but every citizen he's sworn to protect. You're deciding whether one of your greatest heroes is cast out for the crime of loving someone. That's not just a Jedi matter. It's a statement about what values the Order represents. Silence. Several council members look uncomfortable. In the gallery, Anakin hears approving murmurs from younger Jedi. Approach, you will, Yoda says, gesturing to Padmé. She walks forward without hesitation, carrying the twins. When she stands before Yoda's seat, the ancient master leans forward, studying Luke and Leia with intense focus. May I? He asks, reaching up with one withered hand. Of course. Master Yoda. Yoda touches Luke's forehead first, then Leia's, with the gentlest pressure. His eyes close. The chamber falls absolutely silent as the Grand Master of the Order reaches into the Force, feeling the presence of these two new lives. Long moments pass. Anakin can barely breathe. Finally, Yoda opens his eyes. There's moisture there, tears unmistakable even on that ancient face. Strong in the Force, they are, he says softly, as strong as their father. Stronger, perhaps. Great destinies they have. Much good they will do. He looks up at Padmé, then at Anakin. The prophecy fulfilled it is. Balance Anakin Skywalker has brought, not through destruction, but through choice. Tested he was, in that council chamber weeks ago. Faced his greatest fear, he did. And chose trust, chose light, chose the Jedi way even when easier paths called to him. Yoda rises from his seat with effort, leaning on his gimmerstick. Your attachment tested it was, he continues, addressing Anakin directly. By Palpatine, by the dark side, by fear itself. Found wanting. It was not. Your love for your wife, your family, anchor you they did. Keep you in the light, they did. Weakness this is not. Strength it is. Master Yoda, Mace begins, but Yoda raises a hand. 1,000 years the code has served us, Yoda says, but changed the galaxy has. Changed the Force has. Changed we must, or die we will. Not physically, but in spirit, in purpose. Become the very thing we fought, rigid, dogmatic, blind to life itself. We will. He turns to face the full council. Remain in the Order. Anakin Skywalker shall. Master he is, by right and by deed. But an example he will set. Studied, his situation will be. If his family proves strength rather than weakness, if love strengthens rather than corrupts, then reforms we shall consider. Balance masters we shall create, teachers who help Jedi navigate emotion rather than suppress it. Master Yoda, this is unprecedented. Mace protests. Unprecedented times require unprecedented wisdom, Yoda counters. Vote, we shall. All in favor of allowing Master Skywalker to remain in the Order while maintaining his family. Say aye. Aye, Obi-Wan says immediately. Aye. Ki Adi Mundi follows. Aye. Plo Koon's filtered voice adds. Aye. Shak T says after a moment's hesitation. Aye. Kit Fisto says, grinning despite the solemnity. One by one, the voices add up. Sesi Teen. Coleman KKH. Even some of the more conservative masters, seeing the way the vote is trending, add their support. When the count is finished, 8 votes in favor, 4 opposed or abstaining, including Mace Windu. Decided it is, Yoda announces. Master Skywalker remains. His family acknowledged is. Conditions there are, report to the council monthly he will. His emotional state, monitored it shall be. But trusted he is. Earned it, he has. Anakin feels Padmé's hand slip into his. The twins, sensing something, both choose that moment to gurgle. Luke more loudly, Leia with quiet contentment. One more thing, Yoda adds, his eyes twinkling now. Senator Amidala, grateful the Order is for sharing him with us. Precious he is. To you and to us, partners we are now in his life. Understand this, I hope you do. Padmé smiles, tears streaming down her face. I understand, Master Yoda. Thank you. Thank you all. As they leave the council chamber, Anakin carrying Leia now, while Padmé holds Luke, the gallery of Jedi erupts in applause. It's unprecedented. Applause in the sacred council chamber. But younger Jedi are whistling, cheering, congratulating. The Jedi Order just changed. Not overnight, not completely, but a door has opened that was sealed for 1,000 years. And Anakin Skywalker, the chosen one, just walked through it with his family at his side. 1 week later, Anakin and Padmé's apartment on Coruscant has transformed into controlled chaos. The elegant senatorial quarters, high ceilings, sweeping views of the city, tasteful art from a dozen worlds, now feature baby bottles, diapers, toys, and 2 bassinets positioned where guests once enjoyed cocktails. C-3PO fusses over the twins constantly. Oh my, Master Luke has spit up on his blanket again. This is most distressing. And Miss Leia appears to be attempting to put her entire fist in her mouth, which surely cannot be hygienic. 3PO, they're fine, Padmé says, exhaustion evident in her voice. She's in a simple sleeping gown, her hair pulled back, dark circles under her eyes. But when she looks at the twins, her expression softens with pure love. R2 beeps from his charging station near the window. He's been helping monitor the twins' vitals, a paranoid measure Anakin insisted on after nearly losing Padmé. R2 says they're both healthy, Anakin translates, though Padmé has learned to understand the droid's beeps over the years. Heart rate's normal, no signs of distress. Unlike their father, Padmé teases gently. Ani, you need to sleep. You've been up for 2 days straight. I'll sleep when they sleep. But even as he says it, Luke chooses that moment to yawn, his tiny face scrunching. Leia is already asleep in her bassinet, one tiny fist curled near her face. Go, Padmé urges. I'll watch them for a few hours. The council isn't expecting you until tomorrow. Reluctantly, Anakin retreats to their bedroom, but sleep doesn't come easily. His mind churns with everything that's happened. Palpatine's death, the council's judgment, becoming a father, the weight of what it all means. He finally gives up and steps out onto the veranda overlooking Coruscant. The evening air is cool, the city's light stretching to every horizon like a blanket of stars brought to ground. Speeders zip past thousands of feet below, their lights streaking trails across his vision. The Force shifts around him, warm, welcoming, familiar in a way that makes his breath catch. Hello, Anakin. The voice comes from behind him. Anakin spins, hand dropping to his lightsaber automatically, but freezes. A shimmer in the air, like heat waves rising from sun-baked sand. Then a form takes shape, translucent and glowing with soft blue-white light. The face is exactly as Anakin remembers, though he hasn't seen it in over 13 years. Qui-Gon Jinn. Master Qui-Gon? Anakin's voice cracks. His hand drops from his weapon. How? You're dead? Yes. Qui-Gon smiles, and it's the same warm expression Anakin remembers from Tatooine, from the brief time they traveled together before Naboo. But not gone. Never gone, Anakin. I've been watching. Watching. Anakin's legs feel weak. He reaches for the veranda railing to steady himself. You've been all this time? From the netherworld of the Force, yes. I learned this technique from the shaman of the Wills, though I was killed by Darth Maul before I could complete the training. For years I could only manifest as a voice, and only to those deep in meditation. But I've been practicing, learning. And now, he spreads his luminous hands. Now I can appear like this, though I still cannot touch the physical world. Anakin stares at his first master, the Jedi who saw something in a slave boy on Tatooine and changed the entire galaxy. Emotions war within him, joy at seeing Qui-Gon again, grief for all the years lost, guilt for you died because of me, Anakin says quietly. On Naboo, if I'd been stronger, if I'd been able to help. Stop. Qui-Gon's voice is firm but gentle. I died fulfilling the Force's will. Finding you was my purpose, Anakin. Everything that's happened since, the wars, the triumphs, the struggles, it led to this moment. To you standing here, having chosen light over darkness, trust over fear. I almost didn't, Anakin admits. I came so close to turning, to joining Palpatine. If I'd gone to the Senate that day, but you didn't. Qui-Gon moves closer, his presence radiating warmth even though he casts no shadow. In that council chamber when every instinct screamed at you to run, to take control, to save Padmé yourself, you stayed, you trusted. That moment, Anakin, was your true destiny. The prophecy? The prophecy was never about destroying the Sith forever, Qui-Gon says. Evil exists in the hearts of living beings. As long as there's sentient life, there will be those who choose darkness. The prophecy was about bringing balance, about choosing light even when you're terrified, even when darkness offers everything you want. Anakin leans against the railing, processing this. Palpatine, he showed me visions. Padmé dying in childbirth. I was so afraid, he fed your fear, Qui-Gon confirms. Palpatine was in your mind for months, Anakin. Probably years. He cultivated your paranoia, your sense of isolation. He showed you false futures to drive you toward the dark side. But you learned to distinguish fear from love. That's the difference. That's what saved you. Obi-Wan, the Council, Padmé. As it should be, the Jedi erred in teaching absolute self-reliance. We're stronger together, Anakin. Your love for Padmé didn't weaken you. It anchored you to the light. They stand in silence for a moment, the ghost and the living Jedi, watching Coruscant's lights. Why are you here? Anakin asks finally. I mean, why now? Why appear to me? Because you're about to begin the most important work of your life. Qui-Gon turns to face him fully. The Jedi Order is broken, Anakin, not destroyed. Palpatine failed in that, but lost. They've forgotten what it means to be Jedi. They've become rigid, dogmatic, afraid of life itself. The Council just voted to let me keep my family. That's progress. It's a start, but it's not enough. Qui-Gon's expression grows serious. I need you to lead them back. Not as a warrior, you've been a warrior long enough. As a teacher, as a philosopher, as someone who understands balance not as theory, but as lived experience. I'm not qualified to. You're the only one qualified, Qui-Gon interrupts. You've loved and nearly lost everything. You understand what the ancient Jedi understood, that the Force is life, and life requires emotion, connection, love. What do you want me to do? Seek out the old temples, Qui-Gon says. Tython, Jedha, Ochto. Study the original Jedi, the Jedi, those who walked between light and dark without falling. Learn their teachings, bring them back to the Order. Rewrite the code, Anakin says slowly. Understanding dawning. Not abandon it. Complete it. The code as it exists is a fragment, a reaction to ancient wars. It teaches suppression when it should teach understanding. It fears emotion when it should embrace it with wisdom. The Council will never accept. They will. In time, because you'll show them it works. You'll live it. Your children will embody it. Luke and Leia will be the first generation of the new order, Jedi who understand that love and duty aren't opposites, but complements. Anakin thinks of his son and daughter, sleeping peacefully inside. The idea of them growing up as Jedi, but without the fear and secrecy that plagued his own training. How long will this take? Years? Maybe decades. Qui-Gon smiles. But you have time now, Anakin. The war is ending. Palpatine is dead. For the first time in your life, you have space to breathe, to learn, to grow. Use it wisely. I'm always here. You just need to listen. Qui-Gon's form begins to fade, growing translucent. Be present for your family, Anakin. Don't let duty steal these years. Luke and Leia need their father, not the chosen one, not the hero with no fear. Just Anakin, the man who loves their mother, the father who will teach them to be better than we were. Master, wait. But Qui-Gon is already gone, leaving only warmth and the faint scent of something like rain on desert sand. Anakin stands on the veranda for a long time, staring at the city, feeling the Force flow through him. Inside, he hears Luke start to cry, a hungry cry, insistent. Padmé's soft voice soothes him, his family, his purpose, his future. Qui-Gon is right. He has work to do, a mission more important than any battle he fought in the Clone Wars. He's going to change the Jedi Order, not through destruction, but through love, through showing them a better way. Anakin turns from the veranda and goes inside, where Padmé is trying to feed Luke while Leia sleeps peacefully. He takes his son, settles into the chair, helps with the bottle. This simple moment of fatherhood is more important than any lightsaber duel, any starfighter battle, any political maneuvering. This is balance. This is the Force. This is what he chose in that council chamber. And he would choose it again. Every time. 6 months after Palpatine's death, the galaxy has transformed in ways no one could have predicted. Chancellor Bail Organa stands at the podium in the Senate chamber, his voice carrying through the vast rotunda. My fellow senators, citizens of the Republic, today we mark the official end of the Clone Wars. Bail waits for it to subside. Bail waits for it to subside before continuing. The revelation that Chancellor Palpatine orchestrated both sides of this conflict has forced us to confront uncomfortable truths. We were manipulated. The separatist movement, while it had legitimate grievances, was guided by agents of the Sith. The Republic's response was likewise corrupted from within. On a viewing screen in Anakin and Padmé's apartment, they watch the speech together. Luke sleeps in Anakin's arms while Padmé holds Leia. The twins are getting bigger, developing personalities. Luke is louder, more demanding, while Leia watches everything with quiet intensity. Through diplomatic channels we have negotiated with separatist systems, Bail continues. Many have already rejoined the Republic. Others seek autonomy, which we will respect. The corporate sector will be investigated for its role in weapons manufacturing and profit from the conflict. And most importantly, we have begun the process of granting full citizenship rights to the clone troopers. This last announcement brings mixed reactions from the Senate. Some cheer, others look uncomfortable. The clones were created as property, bred for war. Giving them citizenship means acknowledging their people, with all the implications that carries. They fought for us, Bail says firmly. Bled for us, died for us. Now we recognize their personhood. They may continue serving in the Republic military if they choose, but they may also retire, receive land grants, pursue other professions. They are not property, they are citizens. Padmé smiles. He's doing it, actually reforming the Republic. He has the political capital, Anakin says. The revelation about Palpatine united people who were enemies weeks ago. Everyone wants distance from the Sith Lord's legacy. And the Jedi? Padmé asks. How is the Temple handling all this? The Council agreed to Yoda's proposal. I'm leading a pilot program teaching emotional integration to a select group of Padawans. Some of the older masters are resistant. They've seen what suppression leads to. Your first class of balanced masters. We're not calling them that. Not officially. But yes, Anakin adjusts Luke, who's starting to wake. Obi-Wan has been helping. And there's someone else I need to find. Someone who deserves an apology from the Order. Padmé knows immediately. Ahsoka. She left because the Council failed her. Threw her away when she needed them most. I was so focused on the war, on my own problems, that I didn't fight hard enough for her. Anakin's jaw clenches. I'm going to fix that. Where is she? Outer Rim. Helping people under the radar. Obi-Wan has intelligence reports. She's been moving from planet to planet, intervening in local conflicts, protecting refugees. Everything a Jedi should do, without the formal title. Obi-Wan offered to come. But I need to do this alone. Master and Padawan, or former Master and former Padawan. He looks down at Luke. Will you be okay with the twins? We'll be fine. 3PO helps, and my mother is visiting next week. Padmé leans over to kiss him. Bring her home, Ani. Ahsoka deserves to know what you're building. She deserves to be part of it. The next morning, Anakin pilots his starfighter, a newer model, not the battered Jedi interceptor from the war, toward the Outer Rim. The coordinates lead to Rada, a small agricultural world that suffered under separatist occupation. Now it's rebuilding, with help from an anonymous Force user the locals call the Wanderer. He lands in the main settlement, barely more than a village with prefab buildings and converted barracks from the occupation. The locals eye his Jedi robes with suspicion. The Order's reputation is complicated in the Outer Rim. They were protectors once, then became generals, then were revealed to have missed a Sith Lord hiding in plain sight for years. Anakin doesn't announce himself. He reaches into the Force, seeking that familiar presence, bright, determined, with a core of integrity that never wavered even when the Council failed her. There, in a cantina at the edge of town. He pushes through the door. The interior is dim, smelling of local brew and fried food. A few farmers drink at the bar. In the corner, hooded and solitary, sits a Togruta female. She senses him before he speaks. Her shoulders tense. "I'm not coming back, Sky Guy." Anakin smiles despite himself. She still uses the old nickname. "Can I at least sit down?" Ahsoka Tano pulls back her hood, revealing her orange skin and white facial markings. She's older. She would be 19 now, no longer the enthusiastic Padawan who followed him into battle. Her montrals are longer, her expression hardened by experiences Anakin can only imagine. Suit yourself. Up close, he sees she's done well for herself. New clothes, well-maintained weapons, a look of health despite the hardship of Outer Rim life. "You look good, Snips. Don't call me that. I'm not your Padawan anymore." The words sting, but he deserves them. "You're right. The Council took that from us. Took away your future with the Order. They threw me away," Ahsoka says, her voice carefully controlled. "Didn't even hesitate. I was framed for murder, for terrorism, and they just believed it. You were the only one who believed in me. I know, and I'm sorry. I should have done more, should have left with you when you walked away, but you didn't. No, I didn't, because I was afraid of losing my place in the Order, my status, my everything." Anakin leans forward. "I was a coward, Ahsoka, and you paid the price for my cowardice." She studies him, her blue eyes sharp. "Why are you here, Anakin?" "Because the Order is changing. Because Yoda agrees we failed you. Because the Council is prepared to offer a formal public apology." Ahsoka laughs bitterly. "An apology. That fixes everything." "No, it doesn't. But it's a start." He pauses. "They want to knight you, officially. Recognize what you've become on your own. I don't need their validation. I know, but Ahsoka, it's not about them. It's about you getting what you earned, what they stole from you." She shakes her head. "It's not about titles, Anakin. It's about trust. How can I trust an institution that abandoned me the moment it was convenient?" This is the moment. Anakin takes a breath and tells her everything. His marriage to Padmé. The twins, standing before the Council in confession. Palpatine's manipulation. Staying in the Council chamber when he could have run. The vote that let him keep his family. Qui-Gon's ghost and the mission to reform the Jedi Order. All of it. Ahsoka listens in silence, her expression shifting from skepticism to surprise to something like wonder. "You had kids and didn't tell me?" she says finally. Anakin winces. "I couldn't tell anyone. The Order would have expelled you." "I know, but Ani," she uses the nickname Padmé calls him, something she's never done before. "You have a family. You're a father. And I need you, Snips. Not the Order. Me. I can't reform the Jedi alone. I need someone who understands what it's like to be failed by them. Someone who can help me make sure they never fail another young Jedi the way they failed you." Ahsoka is quiet for a long moment. The cantina's ambient noise, clinking glasses, low conversation, fills the silence. "I have a niece and nephew," she says finally. "Technically, if you come back, not as your Padawan, as my partner, my equal, whatever title you want, Knight, Master, Free Agent. I don't care about titles anymore, Ahsoka. I care about doing what's right." She studies him, and he lets her look, lets her see through the Force that he's telling the truth, that this isn't manipulation or politics. Just a man asking his former Padawan his friend, to help him fix what's broken. I want to meet them, she says finally. The twins. We'll go to Coruscant together. You can meet Luke and Leia, meet Padmé properly as my wife instead of just Senator Amidala. And then? Then you decide. No pressure. No expectations. Just think about it. Ahsoka stands, pulling her hood back up. My ship's at the north landing pad. I'll follow you. As they walk through Rada's dusty streets toward their ships, Ahsoka asks, what are their names? The twins. For what it's worth, Sky Guy, I think you'll be a good father. Better than I was a master, I hope. That's a low bar, but she's smiling when she says it. They leave Rada together, master and former Padawan, or maybe just two Jedi who understand what it means to be failed by the Order and choose to do better. The galaxy is changing, and Ahsoka Tano is coming home. Let us know what you'd like to see next. The end.